Hi everybody, Darren Green from Work in Progress Coaching here. I hope you're having a fantastic day. Coming to you for video 4 of 5 that I'll be doing around some posts for key questions that had a big impact on my life, and I'm hoping there's some value in there for you as well. Today's question is, what if retirement meant doing what you love? So why is that? What I mean by that? Well, traditional view of retirement, if you think about the vast majority of people, you start education up to about 18, maybe go on to university, college, etc. But by 21, 22, most people are starting to go out into the workplace. And then the general rule is you'll work for the next 50 years, maybe 45 years, to then have a chunk at the end where you can kick back, relax, hit the golf course, pipe slippers, that type of thing. Yeah, maybe have grandkids running around you. But that's the traditional view of, when we think about retirement. Certainly for a lot of people my age, I'm still the right side of 40, hopefully. But yeah, for most people my age, yeah, we're still expecting to be working for another, say, 30 years maybe. Before we start drawing our pension and start what I would class as relaxing, because that's generally what we think about in terms of retirement. So I'm questioning just now, what about if you had a different frame of reference for what retirement, a different definition for you? So just because it's traditional for everyone else to think it doesn't have to be traditional for you. So I just want to kind of call out this, because you'll see this online sometimes, this diagram, and I had it in my post a few weeks ago. For me, I think when you see it mapped out like that, it's so stark almost, that we start our education and we kind of learn up to about this point, and then we just knock our pan in for 40 years. And this age here is actually going up, so it's not 65 anymore. I think it's 65 for people retiring now, but for anyone after a particular age, it's 66, it's 67. By the time I retire, which we'll get onto in a second, in the traditional sense, could that be over 70? Yeah, probably. And then the problem is, no one's guaranteed what you've got at the end. Clearly, your life expectancy, no one knows it. Life expectancy overall is going up, but on an individual basis, the likelihood that you're going to get disease, you're going to have the kind of life-threatening illnesses, is going to increase as you go with age. So the likelihood, that just the natural fact of life is that you're more susceptible to pick up things that could affect you, living, the older you get. So we almost take all of this stuff for granted, and I'm just putting a big question mark next to it, because no one's promised tomorrow. And what I want to make sure is, when you start thinking about what you're doing in this period of time, you want to make sure that is purposeful and is aligned to your values and something that you're really, really passionate about. If you dread work, and I hate to see it, if you're someone that goes into your work and you hate being there, you really don't like the job, why are you sacrificing that commodity of time? That's the most valuable thing that you've got. And why are so many people want to sacrifice that big chunk of their time to hopefully get a few years at the end? It just makes no sense to me, and that, for me, that just really brings it out. So hopefully that's been helpful. But when did I start thinking about it? So when I first had Lauren, which was, she just turned 4, so what's that, 2016, that really caused me to change my view on a lot of things. So I've obviously, in previous videos, I've talked about doing, getting involved in property, and started to have this concept about, wouldn't it be cool if I could retire at 40? Now at that point, when I got involved with property, it was a heady dream of passive income. I'm going to build a huge portfolio. Me and Joe are going to we're going to build up this passive income stream through property, and then we're just going to travel the world every year, and be on our laptops. It's fine. It's so easy. Now, as reality kicked in and we started purchasing properties and we've built a sizable portfolio, Jill's been out of our job. She's effectively retired from her career a year and a half ago. And the likelihood is I will choose to retire at some point in the not too distant future. But what we really started to look at there when that started to dawn on us, that we, that expectation of sitting on the beach and not doing anything, that doesn't really serve our purpose, and I'll tell you why. On any individual basis, you still need to have some motivation in order to get up out of bed and strive to achieve something in your life. So if you think the goal is to reach a summit or a goal, or whatever it is that you have, and then that's it after it, you can just relax after that point, you'll quickly find that that is no longer keeping you fulfilled. So I always remember early astronauts that went to the moon. You can imagine no one on Earth, or very few people on Earth, could have that same understanding of what that was like. And that was their goal. It's like, I get to the moon. And they got to the moon, and then that's not that they didn't have anything else to look at or live for when they came back. But the fact of the matter is, a lot of them, those early astronauts, struggled with mental health when they came back from being in space. Why? Because they didn't have a goal, a tangible goal that they were really excited about to then pursue once they actually came back to Earth. And you see a lot of people who are traditionally retired fall into the exact same trap. So I know, for example, my dad, he doesn't have a problem with this, and I'm sure he won't mind me sharing, but he loves his golf. So as soon as he retired, he's on the golf course a lot more. He's spending more time with his grandkids. Two things that are really, really important to him. So he's doing more of that. So for him, that wasn't a problem. But I see many people will struggle to do that. If they've been working in an industry for 40, 45 years and suddenly that purpose, that reason to get up in the morning isn't there, that can be a really difficult transition. So we started looking at it both on that side and from a practical point of view. We're going to still need some money and something. We're still wanting to strive for something else. And obviously, as you start to build and grow our portfolio, we started to build and grow ourselves. And our vision of the world, our map of the world, how we viewed it, changed. So all the time, the concept was, broadly the same. We wanted to increase our passive income, and we wanted to reduce the reliability on our active income, which was through our careers at the time. And that goes hand in hand, because if I can increase more of my passive income through property, then I don't need to earn as big a salary through my career. So that gives you options. It gives you, it certainly felt more empowered if we could get to that point. And that's probably, I guess, where we're at just now. But I had this thing in my head, right, I still want to retire at 40, but it's not going to be in the traditional sense. I want to retire from a career. I want to retire from, I guess, someone telling me that, I need to do X, Y, and Z. So a lot of the things that I will have to do on a day-to-day basis in my career are top down. And that's just the nature of business, to be honest. And I don't think it's any different if you're a business owner or entrepreneur, by the way, because I guess market conditions and your customers will end up dictating what it is that you should be doing. But I wanted to give myself more control, and I think it's fair to say if you run a business or you're an entrepreneur, you have more control, or you're self-employed, you have more control over what you spend your time on, and rather than in a career, a salary, you're effectively trading your time for money. So you say, I'm going to be here for 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, and I'm going to do, these are my responsibilities, I've got to do, yeah. Some of them you might be okay with, some of you might love, some of them you're like, I cannot stand doing that. And I've been pretty lucky, and so has Jill formerly, that we've both had jobs reasonably well paid that we've enjoyed. So it's not a case of we're really dying to get away from our jobs, but at the same time, just wanting to take more control and ownership over our lives. So that's effectively what we've been planning to do. We obviously worked on the passive income through property, and then we've looked at increasing our active income, but we reduced our dependency on that active income because we were bringing some passive income in through property. So on the active side, for my side, I've been coaching. This is you'll be on my business page or Instagram page. This is what I do. I work with clients to help them find their purpose and live on their purpose, and stop making excuses and hiding from doing the things that they want to do. So I keep my clients accountable and help them reach levels of success that they can't otherwise, or they wouldn't otherwise reach. And that's what gets me going. That's what I really love. That's what I'm passionate about. That's what makes me come alive. So that's what I want to be doing most of my time. And I do a bit of that in my day-to-day job, but that is not what I get paid to do. So I'm looking to move more into that space. For Jill, what Jill's done for the last kind of 18 months, she's done a few different things, but just to give you a flavour of what that could look like, when she retired from her career, she always loved taking our kids to swimming lessons, and we took them to this thing called Turtle Tots. There's water babies, there's a few equivalents, but basically swimming teaching lessons. And she's been doing that for the last, trained to do that, and then has been doing that for at least the last year now, and absolutely loves it. And for her, that's a bit of exercise and it's a bit of meditation as well for her. It's a real release and enjoyment for her, because when you're in the pool, you're completely focused with these young, sparkle-eyed kids that are just loving their first, water experiences, and helping them grow in confidence in the water, but also kind of the benefits that can have out with as well. And she just loves seeing that. So she doesn't. Was never going to replace her full-time salary, not even close. And she only does a few hours a week on that. But for her, that's about a passion and a recognition that, do you know what, I'd quite like to do that. That's something that interests me, I'm passionate about, so she's done it. And because of the passive income through property, she was able to focus on doing that. And she also looks at, from an active income point of view now, more often than not, because we've been investing in property and been able to pick up or build quite a large portfolio, we come across a lot more deals than the normal person, investor that's looking to buy things. So typically, we can't buy everything. We'd love to, but we can't buy everything. So she works with a select group of private clients as well, and sources them properties that will give them a better return than what they're getting in other asset classes. So that's what she's been doing from an active income point of view. But I guess the main point of it is to you, it doesn't have to be, from a traditional view of retirement, it doesn't have to be, kick back, relax. So my view of retirement now is, I want to be in control of what I do on a day-to-day basis as much as possible. Clearly still want to put food on the table, still want to live a life of enjoyment with family, spent with family, holidays, friends, all of that good stuff. So I don't want to, go into depths of poverty and quit my job. And I'm not giving any advice to say just quit your job now and go and start a business. We've definitely done it. It's been a transition, and there's certainly more emphasis we've placed on the lifestyle component and how we're able to spend our time with our kids and family, as opposed to the income that we've got. And we've managed to do that through property. Property's been the thing that's the catalyst that's allowed this. So I hope that's been of use. Main thing I think I really want to get across to you, if you're one of these people that either hates your job or is pretty flat in terms of where you are, stop that right now. All right. If it takes you going back, and I've done a few of these videos, if it takes you going into doing some further education or just taking some time out from your existing job, try and work to a place that you can take greater ownership on what is your life purpose and what brings you energy. What's the type of work that you get excited about? If you can focus on that, and that's what you can deliver, why not have that as your view of retirement? Because you're still living with purpose. You're getting up every morning, and you should be going into your work feeling blessed to the fact that you've got a day to go and contribute to the society in some way, in a positive way that energizes you and makes you feel good. That is not just a pipe dream. That's actually what people do. But it has to be driven from you. You have to first do the work on yourself to understand what it is you do want. Don't be sitting back and hiding from those hard questions. Go and do the deep work yourself. That's something I can help you with. That's what a transformational coach can help you do, is tap into what is your actual life purpose. What is it you want to be? What is it that you should be doing? What is your superpower? What brings you alive? So please, please, please do not be one of these people that hates their jobs and feels like they've got no control over it. Take some control, and if you wonder where to start on that, I'm happy to have a conversation with you around that, about some things that you can look at doing. And yeah, start to redefine. Don't take traditional views of society, just even in a general context. Don't take traditional views of what society does. Think about how you can reframe and what would work for you. You hear the phrase, being a sheep. Particularly over lockdown, I've been hearing it. It's not the best phrase, but I guess there is a certain truth to that, in the sense of we just make unconscious decisions because everyone else is doing it. So I guess if there's one thing I want to get across to you just now, question some of those traditional views, particularly on retirement, and yeah, it will make sure that you can start to retire now, retire from the old way of living, and start a new day, start a new life, working on what it is that brings you alive, and what you're really excited about, I guess. So hope that's been useful. If you have any comments, I'd love to hear your thoughts on retirement and on this video. Just drop them in the comments below. You can find me at Darren Green Coaching on Instagram, and get across there to follow my page. I would very much appreciate it. And if I can help at all in any other way, give me a shout.